Welcome to a new season of Cozy Womb Podcast. This is season 5 of Cozy Womb. My name is Shan, mom of the girls. This is a podcast where we talk about surviving parenting, the realness about preggo-ness, and giving really good tips on being our best parent and evolving every day. So if that's what you're looking for, you're at the right place. Hey guys, welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. This is season 5. Episode 1. Woo! We just in here, and I just wanted to bring you guys a fresh new season. This season is all about digging deep into raising kids and how we grew up and what's the point of the episode and what feedback can I give that will help other families see that they can be better and what ways can they be better, and just being very transparent. So that being said, this episode is raising my kids without chaos, which is very important. The point of this episode is that it is up to parents to limit the chaos kids see, hear, or experience. It's up to us. And I want to talk about how do you make sure that your kids avoid chaos? How do you make sure that you avoid chaos? And how that may affect children in the future, and just digging in that, sharing my experiences with it, and seeing where we can improve. All right, let's get into this episode. All right, so let's get into how I grew up. I lived with both of my parents in Southwest Philly, in a house. My oldest brothers that weren't biologically my fathers lived with us, and eventually they moved out because they just couldn't agree. Then I lived there with my youngest brother and then another one of my kids, my mom's kids, that I don't really deal with at all. And there was a lot of friction in the house, and my father, who owned the house, was very verbal abusive to my mom. Growing up for me at a young age, I dealt with sexual abuse. And growing up with both of my parents, it didn't prevent those things. And eventually my mom separated from my dad and we moved, and I lived mostly with my mom as a single parent, with siblings sometimes, without siblings sometimes. And as siblings, we were physically abusive to each other. You know what I'm saying? Verbally, sometimes we would say things to each other to get it under each other's skin, because there really wasn't any time for everybody to heal through the process of what was going on. And all of us expressed our feelings differently. And in relationships, I've purposely avoided being with someone that I have to argue with. I personally avoided being with someone that showed me physical violence up front. You know what I'm saying? So I avoided that. And I avoided that to my best ability while guarding my kids as a grown woman, until a point where I couldn't. But that's not what this episode is about. But through all of that, there were times where my mom thought, as long as, I'm a parent in here and her dad is here, I can make it work. Sometimes, as a parent, one of you are going to see that, okay, both of us being here and not agreeing and not doing it in the healthiest way is not helping the kid. It's not showing your child that they should be with someone loving. It's showing your child that you should be with someone as long as it looks good to the outside world, regardless of how they treat you, regardless of how they talk to you, regardless about how they care or don't care about you, you should stay. And eventually my mom got to a point where she did not stay. And I'm so happy that she got to a point where she had the guts to leave with whatever she had in her pocket. I remember we threw out a lot of our stuff outside. She didn't really tell us where we were going. It was a lot of unsureness on my part because I was about 6 or 7 when she left. And we lived with family, we lived with friends, we lived in shelters. At one point in time, me and my youngest brother, we stayed in a foster home. My mom lived on Section 8. So to avoid all the chaos, when you know as a parent you're not supposed to be in a relationship or you're not supposed to be in a certain environment that does not show your child the best example, leave. Leave. Be the parent and leave. All right, so let's get into how we limit the chaos. Wait. Before we get into this episode, let's show some support. Let's go. Have you ever heard of Hey Black Mom? It's a brand and website dedicated to making Black mothers feel informed, inspired, safe, entertained, heard, and empowered through a global space of sharing. Telling stories and sharing narratives that the ever-complex melanin mommy can relate to. Hey Black Mom offers a platform for their voices to be exclaimed and applauded. Hey Black Mom was created by Jessica Jackson, a recovering sports journalist with a passion for words and stories. When she had her first child in 2016, her energy shifted and created HeyBlackMom.com. Their content ranges from columns about the dark side of motherhood, coronavirus, human interest pieces such as the story of a mom in kidney failure fighting for her life, and features about Black business, guest commentary, event coverage, and more. Visit the website to find out additional information about what Jessica is doing for us through storytelling. Be sure to subscribe to the email list, and while you're there, check out Hey Black Mom on social at Hey Black Mom. Jessica is passionate about the space she created and continues to develop, and hope you will be too. Thanks for checking out Hey Black Mom. Now back to the show.
Here we go.
Back to the show. All right. So how do we limit the chaos that our kids may be around or may be exposed to or may live around? You move if it's not good. You find a place, maybe it's a place where you don't know anybody, but you as an adult have to be able to take your child out of a stale environment that they cannot grow for the best of themselves within. Okay? Keeping a clean and clutter-free house is going to help your child relax. When there's a lot of stuff that is misplaced in a home, it doesn't help your child grow in a uplifting situation. It doesn't help your child relax in their thinking. They're always thinking there's something to do. They're always thinking, oh, I have to do this, or this is wrong, or my friends' houses don't look like this. Something is wrong with me. So keep a clear, clean house. When your place is clean, you feel better. You carry yourself better. When you have nice things, you feel like you deserve nice things. So keep a clear, clutter-free house. I would say in your house also to have a lot of bright light coming in your house. Have plants in your house. Have pictures in your house. Have colors in your house. Make your house enjoyable. Candles, flowers, pictures, reminders that they're great times. Remember this, jokes, laughs, joy. Have joy within your house. If your house is full of joy, then you're not going to feel good. If your child doesn't identify with, okay, this is my bed. This is my area. These are my books. These are my toys. If they don't feel a connection to your home, they're not going to want to be there. If their bed is not comfortable, they're not going to want to be there. If their clothes are not clean, they're not going to want to be there. So that's a way for you to raise your child without the chaos. And make your kids okay with admitting when they're wrong. Growing up, I've seen a lot of adults that wouldn't admit when they were wrong. growing up, I've seen a lot of adults that argued a point even though they were wrong. And when people are wrong, you don't, especially kids, you don't want to make them feel like, oh, you're going to be in trouble or somebody's going to do something to you to hurt you, because then you're going to defend it until the end of time. Let them feel comfortable in a calm environment that they can explain to you, okay, this is what I did. Honestly, this is what I did. And let them feel like, okay, you're not going to hit me. You're not going to throw anything at me. You're not going to throw me outside. You're not going to tell me I can't be here. Make them feel comfortable in expressing their truth. And that's a lot of avoiding the friction of living in chaos, because when you live with a person that's very combative on being right all the time and you have no say and your point doesn't matter, and a child sees that, they're going to see like, okay, I have to be right so I don't ever have to feel like this person. I have to be right and I have to be in control and I have to be this, so no one can tell me what I can't do, and no one can boss me around, and no one can kick me out. So do not raise your children in chaos. It's not even worth it. It's not worth it for you, and it's not worth it for them. Spend time doing games with your kids, puzzles, working together, talking together at the table. Spend time apart. Let your children understand that, yes, I love you, but I don't want to be in this room right now. I want to go in my room. I want to spend time alone with myself, and I still love you, and I'm still going to make sure you have something to eat, and I'm still going to make sure you have a clean place to sleep. Let them understand that they can play by themselves and still have friends. They can want to play by themselves and still love their siblings. You don't always have to do things together. That's another way to not raise them in chaos. And let them understand that you do not have to fight to prove a point every time. You don't have to get physical with someone to prove a point every time. You don't have to be mean to someone to prove a point every time. Also, pick your partners wisely. Your children did not ask to be here, but they are here and they are your responsibility. And hopefully you do live in a household with your child. And if you do not live in a household with your child, make it a point to reach out to that child. Make it a point to be on good speaking terms and communication with that child's mother or father. And if you can't be, make it a point to go to your courthouse and see what legal rights do you have to set up some visitation when you can legally see your child, legally visit with your child physically, not FaceTime, not call every once and again, not, check in on birthdays. I'm talking about consistent. This is the time for my dad. This is the time for my mom. The court said, and if this person does not allow me to see my kid, I can get, police involved. I can get courts involved. Be that assertive when it comes to your time with your child, because when your child grows up and, they come to you and they say, why didn't you come see me? You can't give them an excuse. Oh, your mom wouldn't let me. Oh, I didn't know where you were. You can't give that. That's not acceptable. And if it's a toxic situation where, court is giving you the long run in the process, write letters to your kid and put it in a box. Write letters to your kid and put it in an envelope. Date them. Let your child know that I did think about you. Here's proof that I thought about you. These were my thoughts at that time. I was feeling hurt when you were feeling hurt. As a grown-up, I would appreciate that as a child having a parent that was missing. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big chunk of the hurt when young kids grow up into adults and have that emptiness of, dang, my dad didn't even think to come see me. My mom didn't care to come see me. I don't even think she missed me. She never told me she missed me. She doesn't have any proof that she missed me. All she says is, I did miss you. What does that mean? Show me proof. Show me proof. So have that. Also, when it comes to picking your partners wisely, a lot of people want to say, oh, you should have knew like this person wouldn't be a great parent. Oh, you should have saw the signs. But some people change. When people cannot control, they switch up. And some people want to use your children as some type of bait or control device. And children are not that. So sometimes when people switch up, you either have to do things strictly by the courts, strictly by legal matters. And I'm like that with one of my children's fathers, and the other one I'm not. The other one is very immature, but in due time, hopefully he gets to a mature space. But until then, I have to be the parent. I have to choose. Like, it's not wise for me to put you on a plane by yourself and send you to your biological father that does not know how to take care of himself physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. That wouldn't be smart on my part, so I'm not going to do it. But I will allow your dad to visit you sometimes. I will allow you to call your dad. I will allow you to FaceTime your dad. I will allow you to have some type of emotional, mental, physical, to some extent, kind of relationship with your father. Because they deserve that, okay? Whether their father is good or not, whether their mother is good or not, they deserve to have some sort of relationship to a certain extent with that parent. Unless you're legally told this cannot happen. When dating, let me just say this. When dating, do not bring a child into the mix of who you're dating 2 months in, 3 months in, 4 months in, 6 months in. You can talk about the fact that you do have children, but I want to, bring a child on a date. I want to bring the person that you're dating to the park. I want to do, parent-esque things with someone that you're just dating or you're just getting to know. Now, when you're like a year in, a year and a half in, and you feel like things are getting more official, quote unquote, okay, then maybe you guys can go out together sometimes. But I don't feel like someone you're dating or somebody you're with in less than a year should be living in your house with your kid. I don't think they should be watching your child by themselves. We have to be, and that's men or women, we have to be more aware and more responsible when it comes to who we allow to be around our children. And the fighting, if you guys are physically hurtful to each other, your child shouldn't see that. If you are emotionally hurtful, your child shouldn't see you crying on the phone, arguing with the person that you say that you like or you're with or you love. If you're verbally abusive, your child shouldn't hear that, because that's how they're going to talk to other people. If the person you're talking to is verbally abusive, your child shouldn't hear that, because that's going to be an example to them to accept that, because that's what love is. And this is where this illusion of what love is, quote unquote, gets into our brains at a young age, because of what we see, because of what we hear, because of what we saw that was allowed, and what came out of it, and exception of someone hitting on you, exception of someone telling you you're not good, exception of someone doing spiteful things towards you, exception of you hurting someone with your words, physically, mentally, you using your child as bait, or using your child to get things in life. So be better examples by being the one to take your child out of the chaos. If you have to live in a different community, live there, prosper, raise a child, enjoy. If you have to get a new set of friends, do that. If your child has to go to a different school, do that. Okay? You only get one child. with that name, with that personality. And then even if you have another child, it's going to be a completely different personality. So why not do your best? Why not set them up to be better and more productive and persevere through a better circumstance? You have that power. As parents, we have the power to dodge chaos, avoid chaos, get out of chaos. And especially when we have kids, that should be like our focus, to raise our kids without the chaos. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb Podcast. And you'll hear from me soon. Peace. Bye.
Bye.